Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Action Sack gameplay. But you didn't think I'd say that. I'm not the biggest Action Sack fan, to be honest. I've had many problems with it from launch, but they decided to make some changes, which they announced on the recent bulletin, and I was pretty excited for them, honestly. They took a step in the direction that I wanted them to take Action Sack, and I really like the fact that they're looking at random playlists that we've already seen, and they're making a few changes to them, because honestly, it makes me quite excited for what potentially might happen, because there's a certain number of playlists that I have a bit of a problem with, CTF being the main one, which I've mentioned before. I don't think the fact that Team Slayer has Infinity Slayer in it, and Infinity Slayer still has CSR, and the fact that you get really, try-hardy lobbies against pretty difficult players, yet you have to stoop down to their level and use the loadouts that they're using, like the bolt shots and the jetpacks. And it's not really their fault that they're using them, it's just that they're going for the win, you know. If you put a rank in a playlist, there is going to be a certain number of people who go for the win and try to improve their rank, no matter how hard it is to find said rank. And as a result, some people choose to exploit certain elements in the game, and it's not really their fault, it's kind of the game's fault. And I really hope that Infinity Slayer just gets removed, or they make some sort of social Infinity Slayer. Not gonna happen, but it makes me optimistic that they're making changes to like Action Sack and Team Doubles, which might mean that they're thinking of making problems to a couple of other players. We'll just have to see. But moving on, I want to talk about Action Sack today. This gameplay isn't a real gameplay. To be honest, I joined in this team, and my team are doing pretty darn terrible. Like, my team are just not getting any kills. They're getting stuck in spawn, and I go through a phase of dying quite a bit at the beginning. But as you saw at the very beginning, I managed to pull off the Incineration Cannon Overkill Extermination, which is probably the most MLG thing I've done in my entire life. Insert sarcasm. But, in all honesty, this just brought back to me what made me fall in love with Action Sack on Halo 3. Action Sack is just one of the things that I think Halo 3 undoubtedly nailed more so than Halo 4. And I think Halo 4 are taking a look at stuff like that and thinking, yeah, we could put in paintball for the fun of it, we could put in Husky Raid, and these are just dumb fun playlists. It's how it should be. The problem is that whilst I rank up on this playlist and improve at this playlist, I'm going to end up playing players who are trying to utilize strategies on it. Like I said, the fact that it has a hidden CSR in, it's becoming a real problem in matchmaking, because as you guys know, I was the sort of person who just like stayed away from that problem as much as I could by creating new accounts and just trying to play against bad players. In all honesty, I had no motivation to progress through the CSR system because I knew it was inherently broken, because there was no divide between social and ranked, and there was no separating of playlists. You didn't get this feeling of, oh right, this is the playlist I play when I want to play casual, this is the playlist I want to play when I play ranked. And, you know, that's why I've stayed away from matchmaking for so long, but I'm trying to play it and stay on the same account at the moment, and I'm encountering the same problems. I feel like I'm constantly put into positions where I have to, you know, stoop down to this level of changing my loadout. As you guys are probably aware, I've started using the bolt shot again. Didn't think that would be happening. But if you don't use the bolt shot, like, you're kind of screwed. It's become part of the matchmaking metagame at this point. A lot of players are using it, a lot more than I remember using it. Maybe that's just because I'm playing harder players. I'm not really sure, but you know, you can't really put any player past using it. Like, bad and good players use it equally. Like, you might think, oh yeah, but it's only the terrible players that use bolt shot. Not necessarily true. Like, if you want to go for a high CSR on Infinity Slayer, and you want to try and you want to put in that extra effort and go for a high CSR, you know, you're not going to be able to do that without the bolt shot, or at the very least, it's going to be much more of a challenge, and you're going to be putting a much more severe handicap on yourself. For example, I was playing one of the Crimson map pack maps, Harvest. Harvest is a very big map, and honestly, it should only be played on CTF. I think it's a great CTF map, in all honesty, but Team Slayer, it's a little bit too big, a little bit too spaced out, and there's one too many places to hide. It doesn't really affect CTF, because CTF, you have this objective, so people either have to go out and search for kills and search, you know, try and defend their objective or push the objective, or they're just going to lose the game. That's what makes objective a lot more enjoyable for me, and why I've always enjoyed CTF more, is that they don't have this incentive to, you know, hide behind walls and go for kills. Like, kills is their only objective. That's why in Call of Duty competitive, Team Slayer cannot be played, because all that happens at the beginning of a game battles Team Slayer game is everyone hides behind the wall at the beginning of spawn and does not push out at all, because they have no reason to. the most effective strategy in winning a Team Slayer game in Call of Duty is camping, and it's not quite the same in Halo because obviously you have the more health, so therefore teamwork and pushing aggression sometimes encouraged, but I'd say more so in objective game types. Maybe that's just my opinion. So yeah, in all honesty, like I've just been playing these matchmaking games and just realizing that customs are really my best option, and that's why I haven't been uploading too much, because as I've been trying to improve at customs and improve at the game and bring you guys gameplay that is actually you know, a little bit more competitive to watch, doesn't necessarily have the frustrating elements of the matchmaking, and hopefully it's just more enjoyable to watch me play. I don't feel like my gameplay is quite up to the standards that I'd want it to be able to express my thoughts and opinions on semi-competitive gaming, and, you know, just bring good enough gameplay to the table. You know, when you look at someone like Genesis Rider or other players of that nature, they've had a long time to improve their skills and enhance their gameplay, and as a result they have more insight, it's more valuable, and I think it would be kind of not insulting, but it would just be, you know, disrespectful to the other competitive players out there for bringing substandard gameplay to the table, because it would just be like, you know, just me entering into the fray and going, hey, I'm a pub stomper, now I can do competitive, ha ha ha, look at my bad gameplay. I want it to be genuinely good, like, and worthwhile to watch, and hopefully you guys get a kick out of that. I think I'm pretty good on the communication side of things, and I think that will make my live commentary a lot more interesting, because a lot of players, when they do play competitive, they either get inside their own head a lot, or they go quiet quite a lot, and I think hopefully that's something that will separate my videos from other players' videos, because it's weird that I'm talking and commentating about competitive gameplay whilst you're watching an action sack ridiculous gameplay where I'm just trying to run to top middle with crazy weapons and kill people, but there we go. Yeah, I honestly think like some competitive gameplay is not very enjoyable to watch, because you know, it's not constantly entertaining. They're making no effort to be entertaining, and and whilst I wouldn't be making an effort to be entertaining, I think like my callouts are pretty good. It's probably one of my better elements of my gameplay, and I think like I'm pretty good at not getting in my own head, if I may say so myself. I think just my biggest problem right now is my individual performance and patience. Converting to more semi-competitive gameplay has made me realize that my biggest problem most certainly is patience, and I'm trying to force myself into it, but I've played every single game since I was a kid in a very aggressive playstyle. I'm not going to be as aggressive as some people out there, but I definitely have a disregard for safe play, because, you know, even when I used to play campaign games, I used to set the difficulty to easy because I wasn't patient enough to play them on hard difficulty and just wait and, you know, do good at the game. All I do is just run through on easy difficulty and pub stomp bots. You know, even from the early days of gaming, I was a scumbag pub stomper of easy players. I just couldn't help it. It was just always what was most entertaining. I used to treat games as like a Hollywood blockbuster experience, where I was like Optimus Prime running through a bunch of enemy transformers. I'm just making up random stuff right now, but hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. The last thing I want to close out with is I'm kind of sort of thinking of doing some sort of 2v2 competitive game series where I link a semi-competitive player, a really strong player in the community, with a YouTuber, and then the semi-competitive player tries to train that YouTuber to get better until they eventually play an opposing team with a semi-competitive player on a YouTube. That was the worst way of explaining that, but I hope you guys understand what I mean. So YouTuber meets semi-competitive player. The semi-competitive player tries to show them how to get better and how to improve, and eventually they play against another team of two who are doing the exact same thing. I haven't worked out hardly any of the details yet, but I just wanted to give you guys a little teaser as to what I'm working on right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I've been Modest Major. Peace out.